Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Push to Pass F1 podcast. Today is our Bahrain Grand Prix review. After a banging race weekend we have just had. Reef, what are your immediate thoughts after that Grand Prix weekend?
F1's back. We had a bit of a lull with Suzuka, but I thought Bahrain was a good race. It delivered. It was entertaining. I actually stayed up for it, even though it was normal time. But
Stayed up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised with some F1 races if I did fall asleep midday. But no, it was good. What do you think?
I think it was a great advert for Formula 1. You know, over the past couple of weeks people have said that F1 has an overtaken issue. I don't think F1 has an overtaken issue. I just think we have a track issue. And I think Bahrain sort of showed that. Bahrain is very much more of like a traditional F1 track in the sense of it's more of like a traditional modern circuit. It's very much catered towards the current cars we have, so you know, we sort of expected a good race from Bahrain, but I don't think many people expected how good of a race we actually got.
No, I was pleased, and I think you look at when Bahrain came on the calendar. I think it first came in 2006 or something, 2005, 2006 time, and it's just like that era of track seems to work best these days. I think drivers can push the limits because they know there's plenty of. It's not gravel traps, is it? It's just kind of paved. So
this one or two, like where we'll talk about it in a bit.
But like you go through like what is it? The turn 4 and 5 complex where it's like the flip flap. You've got like
like the downhill bit.
Yeah, like Max's overtake on signs, that attempt. Like stuff like that drivers do tend to, push the limit, take the piss a bit more, which is always fun.
Yeah, they got rid of, because I remember when they did the Bahrain outer circuit. And there was they had a gravel trap in by turn 4, and Charles, Max, and Sergio all went off in it. And I don't think that's there anymore. But they don't really use gravel anymore in Bahrain. It's sort of if you go off, you die.
And I think it's just better. It's better that way. Just for the driver's sake, they're more likely to put in a harsh move or a brave move, knowing that the risk is okay, I'll go off, but the car's not ruined if I do. So yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, domination from Piastri.
He
was really
we'll get on to driver gradings in a bit, but it's a good performance from him when they don't show him crossing the line in the main feed.
Yeah.
Because he didn't put a foot wrong.
He was unshakable, I thought.
And still could not give like the littlest ounce of enthusiasm over the team radio.
Yeah, but I kind of like that.
I'm a big fan of it. He just seems a really calm head on young shoulders.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the general consensus, isn't it? Everyone's been saying that, and I think there's lots of people that are on it now, but I think this weekend for sure has opened a lot of people's eyes to perhaps he's the number one driver or should be the number one driver.
Well, I've seen an interesting debate on social media. Would you now, after this weekend, say Piastri is the favourite for the title, or would you say it's still a bit up in the air?
Nah, I wouldn't put him as the favourite, to be honest. I think so if he did win the title, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, so undeserved. He's definitely quick enough, but I just think it's definitely Lando still, just because I think team decisions are probably still going to go his way.
Yeah, I think the issue is with Oscar having Lando as a teammate. They seem very keen on having Lando's build-up story being topped off with a title. Like they brought Lando up through the junior categories. He's been there pretty much all his career.
He's like another Hamilton, really.
Oh yeah, it would be like that fairy tale end if they did get a title. But also, if you're someone like Oscar who isn't even leading the World Championship and people are saying you are the title favourite, you are pretty good.
Yes, 50 Grand Prix as well. That's all.
Wow.
You look at his pace. I think this was his 50th, and you can see what he's doing. He's won four main Grand Prix in his career now, and everyone he's fighting with are in 200 now. Well, I think Norris isn't quite at 200, but everyone else. He's developed so quickly, and I mean he took to it like a duck to water anyway. But now it's now he's been given the car. I just think the way that the regs are at the minute, and everyone's talking about these small operating windows with the Red Bull and stuff, and you need to get every car right in that that bit. You need to be on it to get the best bit out of the car. I just think Piastri's better at driving balls to the wall than Lando. I think Lando, if he gets in that flow state, then he's a really hard man to beat. But if you want like a bit of tenacity and you need someone to grit their teeth and go for it, I'd pick Piastri over Norris.
Well, we'll talk about Lando obviously a bit later when we do our drive grading, but I think the difference shown this weekend was when Lando had the opportunity to potentially put the car at risk and potentially put, like his race at risk, he seemed very tentative and very much on like the cautious side, where we haven't really seen that from Oscar this year, and I don't think we've really seen that from Oscar through his career. I think Lando is still a bit scarred from his battle last year with Max.
I don't think Lando likes that car either.
No, he, in terms of qualify, like, one thing I will say, why McLaren let him do media after qualifying in the way he did it. Did you see his post-qualifying interviews?
Yeah, when he saying that he's not fast enough.
Yeah, he basically just called himself like awful, and he was like, "I'm not good enough." Oscar's gonna lap everyone but me.
I've got to be honest. This is exactly why I have doubts about him.
Yeah, he seems very self-critical. We look at people like this. I think in F1 you need to be self-critical, but you also need to be a perfectionist. Like, if you look at someone, in the case of Max Verstappen, if they don't win, they're not happy, but then they're also not going to go, I'm not good enough, I just don't have the pace. They'll find some way to deflect any sort of pressure from themselves. But Lando seems very happy to just go, put all the pressure on me, I'm awful, call me everything under the sun, give me hate.
I think
it's not going to end up good for him.
He's displayed signs that he's actually got maybe a weak mindset.
Yeah. And
in a solo sport like this, where there can be other things that go wrong, but ultimately all the blame lies on the driver. I just don't know if he could ever put together a full, complete campaign to win a world title with attitude like that. I mean, you said, McLaren shouldn't have let him do it. But this is his, 7th season in Formula 1? 6th or 7th?
2019.
6th then.
21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, 6.
6 seasons in F1, you should be able to know how to conduct yourself. Whatever you think behind closed doors is what you think behind closed doors. But don't go publicly and give people a reason to kind of press you.
Press!
Fuck, we'll do that bit again. Don't give reasons for people to press you, because people like Max, who now you can call a seasoned veteran, who's been there and done it 4 times over, I mean, he's just going to pick him apart.
Oh, yeah.
A mindset like Max's is just going to destroy a mindset like Lando's.
Or even someone like, it's probably not related to like directing the drives, but someone like Christian Horner. If they can see Lando's low on confidence, then he's just going to pile more and more pressure on him.
100%.
And Zach Brown doesn't really give me the confidence to, like, if you look at someone like Toto or something, for example, whenever Christian was like barging on, Toto always seemed to just go, yeah, it's my fault, or the car's not good enough, and he'd never sort of blame the driver. I just don't see that from Zach.
I'm not sure. I mean, clearly he's a very clever man, and what he's done for himself is brilliant. But I think he's quite naive to the situation he's found himself in, where McLaren are like, he thinks they're like this happy-go-lucky team. They got 2 great drivers who get on really well. The team atmosphere is great. But I don't think he's quite realised that he's got 2 people who want to be world champions. And anything that's not a championship this year, for me and a lot of people, is going to be deemed as unsuccessful.
Oh, 100%.
He needs to get like a foot, like, he needs to like get people in place, and he needs to start having this mindset where they need to win championships. And I'm just not sure. And like this whole thing with like, he speaks to the media and Andrea Stella doesn't.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
They're the only team on the grid that have this dynamic. And I don't know whether that's because Stella wants that. If he does, fair enough. But I still think that Zach is far too involved.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably, stems from Drive to Survive.
Yeah, I think he is trying very much to get himself in the spotlight. Like, he wants to be the centre of attention. And maybe he's doing that to sort of let, like Andrea Stella, just do his job and not have to worry about the media. And if that is the case, then fair play to him. He's doing a great job at it. But I think also the fact we don't... You will hear from every other team principal on the grid. We'll always hear from Fred Vasseur. We'll always hear from someone like Toto Wolff. We'll always hear from Christian Horner. But you never hear from Andrea Stella unless he's been caught by, like, Ted Kravitz walking up and down the pit lane or something. Yeah, that's the only time you really ever hear of him on TV broadcast.
I think there's so many cracks in that McLaren team. I really do.
What a life to live, McLaren, eh? Right, let's look back at our predictions last weekend, because one of us cooked, one of us burnt.
Yeah.
Badly.
Mm-hmm.
So, who was your biggest good surprise?
Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
Well, I think he got beat up, really, didn't he, at the start? He got...
And then got torpedoed by Yuki.
Yeah, I mean, so Hamilton overtook him. Max overtook him. There was one more as well, I can't remember. And they were all within, like, 3 laps. Which, fair enough, okay. But he was way too kind to Max. In that, like, Max went round the outside of him. I always get confused which one it is. It's 4, 5 or 6. And they had, like, a bit of a duel. And he just gave him so much room. Really, anyone else is going to squeeze Max off the track. Because the move was not on. But I think Sainz is just low in confidence at the moment.
Yeah, it's weird. Because it's almost like he's showing real signs of, like, promise, and you can tell there's something there. It's just not clicking, and it's just not coming off in, like, the final end.
No, and I mean, we're only 4 races in. There's still plenty of time. I'm not saying anything negative about it. Just
you can't be saying, like, it's a waste of money and it's a massive flop and they need to look for someone different. You've just got to sort of be like, if this, say we get 4 or 5 races down the line and he still hasn't finished in the points, then you can potentially start to go, well, right, you need to start picking up results.
Yeah, I think it is a case, though, of just that one result would unlock stuff.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, if he, say, this weekend, just the weekend just gone in Bahrain, say if he picks up a P8 or P7, that could probably start, a train of, like, points finishes or near enough points finishes.
Yeah, I'd argue as well, Sainz, there's a lot of personalities on that grid and a lot of drivers that they're like firecrackers. They'll just, like, come out one race and just absolute doozy of a performance. Whereas Sainz, I've always seen him as a bit of a slow burner.
Yeah.
And I'm under the impression that when he left Ferrari, that was actually the best we'd seen him.
Yeah, like, I think that back end of the last season is probably the closest we'd get to, like, the finished product of Carlos Sainz.
He really grew into the Ferrari role. I mean, he was always good there, don't get me wrong, and he always I thought his performances for Ferrari in the 4 years he was there was great, but he definitely improved, and it's a shame that it got caught short early. But I think there's plenty of room for improvement for Sainz, which isn't always a bad thing.
So my biggest good surprise was Pierre Gasly.
Yep, and he was great qualifying.
What a weekend for Alpine.
Yeah.
Jack Doohan was a bit unlucky, to be fair. He sort of sank in the after the safety car, but he looked
better.
Yeah, he P11 when their car actually looked really quick, but in qualifying it's not the worst, and then P14 in the race, it sort of paints a different story to what the actual race happened.
Yeah, I feel like if you watch the race, you'd know that there was that was a good drive.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Which I think helps his case because it's the only track that he's been, like, they tested there,
and their car is clearly getting quicker.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it necessarily down to the car. I mean, yeah, Pierre's result makes the car look better as well, but Doohan's had 4 races, and now finally in the one that he's actually been to in an F1 car, he performed well. I mean, I think he is just a rookie.
Yeah.
Like, if you gave him time, I do genuinely think he'd probably come good. But as we've said a million times now, he's not going to have that time, whenever that may be. I thought it would have been this weekend. It's not. It's going to happen. Just got to wait.
So, who would you say was your actual biggest winner from Bahrain?
George Russell, probably.
Yeah.
Or it depends. Probably Piastri. I think
if I would give it to Piastri, but I think the amount of issues George had, and how close he was to pole in qualifying when people thought McLaren were going to put like 5-6 tenths on people. I think George has had the weekend of his life.
Yeah, I mean, his defending at the end of that race.
He is slowly creeping his way into a title battle.
Top notch. And I saw a thing saying that he's going to sign a new contract.
Yeah,
I don't know if he has or not.
No, I think it's sort of like alluding to the fact that Mercedes are going to offer him one, which I think will only make him better.
Yeah, he strikes me as the type of character that likes the reassurance.
Oh, yeah, he'll like the security of knowing you're here next year.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm really pleased for George. I think he's putting together a really good season.
Who would you give your biggest flop or biggest bad surprise? Because I said Liam Lawson, and he finished 16th and got, I think, 20 seconds worth of penalties.
Can we say it's a surprise anymore though? That's what I'd argue.
I don't think it is. He qualified 17th and finished 16th out of 18 cars.
I don't know, it's a tough one.
I know who's not been good. It's your best friend.
Gabby Bortoleto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stop talking about him. Do you know what? I'll put my biggest loser was Alonso.
Yeah, or I was going to say potentially Hajar.
Nah, I think that's unfair. Just because
he's
still a rookie. But Alonso's still not scored points.
No, and I've also seen a thing that the 2025 car has no implication from Adrian Newey at all.
Oh, right.
It's completely a Dan Fallows car, and I think Adrian Newey's pretty much just said, I don't want to touch her until I won the 2026 car.
Do you know what? That makes total sense in my head, though. What's the point?
I think they literally just tell them to, look, try and do as best as you can, but don't really be asked, because you're going to have a good car next year, hopefully.
Yeah, do you think they've literally lay it all on the table, said, right, we're going to keep you both, so don't worry about contracts and silly season, we're not going to get rid of anyone, just, toe the line for now, wait till next year and we can deliver you a car that works.
And also, realistically, the lower they finish, the more testing time they get.
Exactly.
So I think Adrian Newey's quietly gone, look, you're going to suffer this year and it's probably going to be a bit of a drag this year, but trust me, next year you will have a good car.
Still, though, just purely because I'm used to better, Fernando Alonso is my biggest loser.
Another driver I wanted to just quickly mention was Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
Finished 11th, but he showed some great little signs of what we could...
Fourth in qualifying, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been third, but he had... No, he qualified fourth, started fifth, and because Mercedes jumped the gun.
Oh, yeah.
But no, some of the moves he was pulling off, and he looked like a man possessed.
Yeah, that lunge, was it early laps?
It's going to sound stupid, but he did what Norris needed to do. He just flung his car up the inside of people.
Completely different scenarios, though, so I understand why Norris isn't doing that.
But
Norris has got a championship to protect.
But, Antonelli, I think a lot of people were like, right, that he has speed and he has a decent bit of consistency, but what is he going to be like if he's got to make overtakes? And I think...
So you don't think him finishing outside the points does him any harm?
Look, it's not ideal, but also I don't get why Mercedes put him on the soft tyre with 30-odd laps left.
Yeah, I can't really answer that one either.
No, because George did, I think he did 24 laps on the soft after the safety car, and he said that's a bit audacious. And Kimi I think he had his tyres on 6 laps earlier. So I don't think Mercedes helped him, but also, look, the way that race went, I don't think Toto's really going to be bothered.
No, I don't think anyone in Mercedes is worrying.
I think Kimi's got a free ticket this year.
Oh, of course.
I think, even more than that, I think literally as long as he shows, like he has so far, as long as he shows signs, I think Toto will sort of accept the odd weekend where he maybe finishes off the points, or, he makes a mistake and crashes the car. It's not going to be ideal, but I also think it's going to be key to his learning.
Which is literally what a rookie season should be. That is what they should be.
We all know it's not like that anymore, though.
No, but it should be.
Yeah. Do you want to do drive gradings?
Yeah, cool.
So, welcome back to F1 Drive Gradings. Our top 10. Number 10, P10, Oliver Bearman.
Should have been arguably driver of the day.
Yeah, how Lewis Hamilton got driver of the day, I'll never know.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Do you know what I wish they did? Instead of letting the fans vote for it, why don't they do it like they do in football? Where the commentator...
Yeah.
or where like obviously it's a bit different because you're gonna have so many different things. But even if like the team principals voted for it and they couldn't vote for their own driver or something.
Team principals would be really cool.
Yeah.
I mean that'd never happen, but I think that's really cool.
Even if the drivers voted for it. Say if you can't vote for yourself.
Driver would be really fun.
Yeah.
Actually, I could see that. That could potentially
Literally in the
happen.
media, you just go, "Oh, who's your driver of the day?" "Oh, Sainz," and then everyone just ballots it, and in the end they go, "Oh yeah, after the votes, Charles Leclerc won it or something."
Yeah.
Rather than everyone going, "Well, how many Instagram posts has Lewis Hamilton put out in the past week?" If you times that by his expected aura. His expected F1 edits on TikTok. It's just like Yuki got it last weekend for finishing P12.
Yeah, well, that made more sense because obviously home race.
The worst used to be Max Verstappen in his early career.
Oh yeah, he used to get it. Well, because they were like, "Oh, he's 18, no."
he'd crash out and people were like, "Christ, driver of the day."
Did you see the way he walked out of that gravel?
Did you see the way he slid into that? That's a world championship winning car. But no,
no, Behrman was great, 20th to 10th.
Yeah, I can't give it any more than a 9.
We're not on that scale, mate. We're doing.
Oh shit! Yeah, when are we?
D to A star.
Do I want to give him an A or an A star?
I'll give him an A star. I thought it was a great drive.
Yeah, I'll give him an A star. He is he's putting on a show. I think he's comfortably been. Do I want to say he's been the best rookie so far?
I think you could probably say that. I mean, Antonelli's got more points, but he's also got substantially better car.
All about relative. I think the top 3 rookies have quite comfortably been Behrman, Antonelli, and Hadjar.
Yeah. I'd probably say Behrman's been the best.
Yeah, he's like, don't get me wrong, qualifying was abysmal to qualify P20, but also then if you just back it up in the race and say, look, I'm going to do a last to 10th challenge.
I do really like that. I like that he's a Sunday man.
Oh yeah, he's the complete opposite of young George Russell.
Yeah, or like a Charles Leclerc. He's on fraud watch.
P9 Yuki Tsunoda.
Great. That's the first race in a long time where both Red Bulls have been near enough the same pace. I mean, I know it's because obviously the Red Bull had no pace, but he only finished 11 seconds off Max.
And he's also not got any headlines this week, which I think only does him more favours.
This is the first race where both Red Bulls have been in the points since Vegas last year. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's horrific.
Yeah.
A or B?
I'll put him an A because he's so cute.
That's the worst thing you've ever said. I'll give him a B. I think if he had potentially got ahead of someone like Ocon, then maybe it could be higher. But speaking of Ocon, P8, Esteban Ocon.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He's just...
Why are Haas good?
He's just grey, isn't he? Like, Ocon is just grey.
Crashed in qualifying.
I feel like he doesn't get plaudits as much as he should because he just goes under the radar.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm genuinely, I'm looking at this top 10 and I've only just clocked he finished 8th.
And he was there on merit at one point.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even like people had paid. He generally was P8. Haas are quietly picking up a lot of points.
Haas have been... Well, we've said this, haven't we? Where they'll have like a good year, bad year, good year, bad
They're currently 5th. They're ahead of Aston Martin and Williams.
Yeah, they're going crazy.
They've scored 20 points.
They've got a really good driver on. And no, remember, they had that... Ocon finished 5th, didn't he?
Yeah, boy.
Something like that.
That was China, man. What a life to live. No, Haas...
I'd put... Ocon gets a B.
A B?
Nah, probably an A, isn't it? It is probably an A.
I think if you're giving Tsunoda an A, you have to give Ocon minimum an A.
Yeah, but he's so cute.
Stop calling Yuki's...
Right.
P7, Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, good. I mean, we've said Alpine had pace this weekend.
I think it's got to be an A-star, surely. If, he was unlucky to lose the position to Max on the last lap, and if he keeps that, he's finishing 6th.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good drive.
What a crazy result, bro. P6, Max Verstappen.
I mean, it's poor for him. Worse than poor. That's a terrible result for him.
But also, it's not helped by his absolute dog of a car. He was legitimately P20 at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not. It's not really his fault, is it?
No.
But we won't give out many bad performances for Max, so we may as well do it now.
I'll give him a B.
A B?
I think a B is solid.
No chance. C.
All right. D. Speaking of Max Verstappen, have you heard? Apparently, there was a meeting with the Red Bull seniors, and apparently, Max Verstappen's manager kicked off at Helmut Marko, and now Helmut Marko is not certain on Max Verstappen's future.
Bullshit.
Apparently, Max Verstappen has a performance clause.
I don't believe that.
Oh no, me not.
And
me.
I also don't believe that the Red Bull would be the ones kicking off. It'd be Max who'd be kicking off.
Yeah,
Why would Red Bull try and push out clearly the best driver on the grid?
No, I don't think that's what it means. I think it more means, look, we need to get our shit together.
Right.
Because otherwise he's going to go. Because Toto Wolff always flirts with Max Verstappen.
Yeah, no, but do you really see Max leaving? Because I don't.
The only place I can see Max Verstappen going anywhere bar Red Bull is Aston Martin. Realistically, they're the only one who could afford him. Apart from
really don't think
from a Ferrari. But then, realistically, he's also going into a team which isn't guaranteed to win.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, for some reason, I feel like Max. I think he's loyal. I think he strikes me as a really loyal guy, and he'd pay his dues to Red Bull.
Well, realistically, without Red Bull having so much patience, he wouldn't have got this far. Like, if he was a Ferrari or if he was at a Mercedes, he probably would have been like demoted in 2019 for the amount of crashes he had.
Do you think?
You've got to think how error-prone Max was.
Yeah, no, he
from
was.
Like 2016 to 2019.
Yeah, but
like he cleaned up his act a bit in 2019. Don't get me wrong.
2019 he had a worldie of his
season.
Yeah, from memory.
Yeah, 2019 was like when he started to turn more into, like, you could tell he was a bit more matured.
I got a quick question then. Sidetrack. 2018 when him and Danny Rick weren't getting on at all.
Yeah.
And they were just crashing into each other for a laugh. if that wasn't Red Bull and that was another team, who do you think they would have sided with?
Ooh. I think it's hard to put, because at that point Max was very much like, he was the star boy and he was like the protege for the future, but also Danny Rick was probably like comfortably third best driver on the grid.
Yeah.
And I don't like the narrative of when people will say like, oh, Danny Rick joined Renault because he was running away from a fight.
No, I don't think it's that. I think, if anything, he wanted to fight more, and he knew that he wouldn't be able to because they favoured Max so much.
And also that Red Bull wasn't the greatest of cars, was it?
I genuinely think that his intentions were that Renault were gonna go on to a good thing.
I think he saw
potential in the Renault and thought, oh, great.
Oh yeah, he saw Renault as what McLaren is now.
I think so.
He saw it as like, I'll be, like they were, to be fair, they were like P4, 5 in the standings, potentially picking up a podium now and again.
Yeah, realistically, I wonder if he didn't, he only had the year there, didn't he?
What, Renault?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did 2020.
Yeah. No, he had 2 then. Did he do 19 and 20? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had 2 years at Renault. And if he must have had like maybe 5 or 6 podiums in that time.
If not, he definitely picked up like a few P4s, P5s.
And I just wonder if he gave them more of a chance if things could have worked out differently. But you never. Well, no, we won't know. But
all in hindsight.
Yeah, back onto driver.
But yeah, Max Verstappen, C.
D.
Lewis Hamilton, driver of the day, P5.
D.
Did he even do anything?
We'll cut that bit out.
Where did he qualify? 9th. Wow.
Oh, mate, my goat might be washed. No, but have you seen, he's like, I just don't have the pace anymore, man.
I don't like them. I hate he puts on some sort of American accent.
He's got like a really fucked accent now, hasn't he? All glory to God. Still we rise.
Pace!
No.
What button am I pressing, man? I don't know.
I
also don't get why Ferrari put him on the hard tyres when nobody liked the hard tyres.
Ferrari. That's all you have to say.
They were weird this weekend, Ferrari. They were competent, but then when they needed to be competent,
They're always weird.
They were awful.
Do you know what they need to do? Don't have someone who's French as their bloody team principal.
Bring back Ross Brawn.
Imagine.
What is he doing nowadays?
He works for the FIA.
Yeah, I thought he works for the FIA.
Anyway, just mid as fuck.
C.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charles Leclerc. A.
Yeah.
Probably should have had a podium.
I said they'd be quick.
Yeah,
I predicted Charles to be third.
Yeah, you predicted Charles podium.
I did.
He was, to be fair, he was quite unlucky. If Norris wasn't in the quickest car, and if like Russell was behind him, he probably would have still got a podium.
I don't know. I mean, I thought they were okay, but I'm a bit worried now because I thought they'd be faster than this at this racetrack. Oh
no, I think they're gonna. I think they're begging for the European leg.
Yeah, I've been saying that, and I think they will get better, but I still don't think. Well, I've changed my mind, and I don't think they're going to be quite there. I don't think they'll be getting race wins anyway.
P3, Lando Norris.
I feel bad because I always kind of slate him. I'll give him a C.
I'm going to give him a B.
C, yeah, B.
Qualifying was abysmal. Like P6 in a McLaren is not good enough.
No, not at all.
In the race, he looked okay, jumped the start, which was weird because I just saw him go a great start and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Then Max ratted
Lando's flying and Max was like, Lando cheated.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm telling.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, fought back well. He arguably should have got P2 if he was a bit more.
No, but I don't think
ambitious. But I don't think it's the end of the world that he didn't get it.
No, it's not the end of the world. I mean, he's outscoring Max, which I think at this point in the season is more important than losing points to Piastri. Do you get what I mean? I just think he needs to focus on beating Max for now.
Yeah,
which would also,
I think he needs to bank early points.
That's going to play into Piastri's favour, mind, because he might just go under the radar. But
Piastri might just win every race.
Yeah, like before you know it, he's like put together a really good season.
But no, I think it was an okay weekend from Lando.
Yeah, but it just isn't good enough, though, is it?
No,
it genuinely isn't. Whatever. Yeah.
P2 George Russell, A-star.
Yeah, brilliant.
Probably one of the best weekends he's ever had.
That posh boy certainly knows how to pedal.
Crikey.
He's great. What did you say he called it? Audacious.
Yeah, he was like softs for the last 24 laps. That's quite audacious. And quietly playing himself into championship contention. And to be fair, he's having probably his best season so far.
Oh yeah, definitely his best season.
And probably going to get a new contract at Mercedes, so more for him. P1, Oscar Piastri, A-star.
Yeah, brilliant. He looked untouchable.
He looked in a different league.
No one could shine a light to him? Is that it?
I think so.
No one could do that. He was that good.
No one could shine his light.
No one could ring his bell.
He was way, way ahead of everyone else. Close in qualifying, don't get me wrong, but I think that was more of a testament to George. Bullied Lando all weekend, quite comfortably, I'd say.
I do wonder though. Imagine, right? So he becomes world champion. What does that even look like?
I think it looks like a bitter McLaren.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think if he carries on with these performances, maybe doesn't win a world championship, but carries on, like everyone knows that he's good, do you think he'd look for a different drive?
If a spot came up. I've always said one of those McLaren drivers will probably end up being like... It depends when one of the other teams, one of their main drivers leaves. So say 2027, Max Verstappen leaves Red Bull. I think the first name on the list is one of the Red Bull drivers. One of the McLaren drivers, comfortably.
I agree. I don't think that Norris would want to work for Horner though.
Oh no, but then also Piastri is managed by Webber, who might be a bit butthurt.
Yeah, does he not get on with Red Bull? I can't really remember.
He left there quite weirdly, and he's obviously, it was quite well documented that he wasn't happy being second fiddle to Seb. But I think he gets on with him okay.
Yeah, well, that's all just hypothetical stuff and isn't really relevant. But I just wonder. I agree with you. Something will have to give one day between those two. But for now, more power to Piastri.
For now, Oscar Piastri looks like the driver on form. And that was our review of the 2025 Bahrain Grand Prix. Quite comfortably, I think we can both say best weekend of the year so far.
For racing, yeah, maybe. Drama and action, Australia may take it.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a different race to Australia.
Well, yeah, it was an actual race this time, where Australia
we
was
didn't have rain.
A bloodbath.
No, but if you are listening on Spotify, don't forget to rate us 5-star and drop us a follow. And if you're listening on YouTube, drop us a like and a subscribe. It massively helps. I have been Max.
I've been Reef.
And this has been the Push to Pass F1 podcast.